Everyone here on YouTube talks about how easy fishing during the fall can be, but if you guys occasionally go out and struggle this time of year, just know that you're not alone. Fishing during the fall months can be extremely challenging. Whether you're talking the early fall transition, the mid-peak fall fishing season, or you're talking late fall into winter, these bass are constantly moving, constantly in flux, and you're at the peak of the weather changes throughout the season. Whether it's high winds, cold nights, the weather is constantly changing, and it's driving these fish to constantly be in transition during the fall time months. So what we're going to be identifying in today's video are the three main mistakes that I think anglers make during the fall that's costing them bites. Now before we dive into that, I want to identify what fall really means. I want to define what fall fishing means to me. And the first thing that I'm looking for when I consider fall fishing is that your days are getting shorter. The biggest key indicator of this for me is when your leaves start to change. What that means is that there's less sunlight throughout the day. The plants aren't able to make the chlorophyll that they need to make, and so they're starting to die off and the leaves are starting to change colors. This is a very key indicator that fall is on its way. I'm also looking for those colder night temps, those 40, 50, maybe even 30 degree range nights that's going to drop your water temperature. This is going to have a huge impact on overall water temperature and drive these fish into those fall modes. Just like in the spring when you're looking for that night temp to rise, in the fall you're looking for that night temp to drop, and that's going to have a major impact on the overall water temperature. And we're really talking that 63 degree range to about 48 degrees is what I would consider optimal fall fishing temperatures. Now that we've defined what fall fishing is, let's take a look at the three areas that I think anglers struggle with most during the fall fishing period. Mistake number one is fishing history, and this is the biggest area that I think anglers struggle with when they start to talk about fall fishing, because it's so easy and we have such limited time on the water to run out to areas where we've had prior success. That could be the week before, the month before, the year before, where we've had success catching fish during the fall. But this is a day-to-day thing. You need to go out to the water every day with the mindset that your bass are moving to a new location. They're following bait fish more during the fall than they ever have before all year long. So you have to go out with a clear mind, look at what the conditions are telling you, and fish the moment.
And fishing the moment really means using your instinct to take over and listening to the fish.
I know that's so cliche, but you have to go out with an open mind and really consider what the bass are doing in the moment, what the bait fish are doing in the moment to find where the bass are that day. One of the biggest keys to avoiding fishing history this time of year is looking for and identifying the highway between their summer location and where they're going to be during the fall months. Some of the key things that I'm going to look for on the highway are going to be contour changes with isolated pieces of cover or structure. That could be small contour changes, steeper drops along an otherwise featureless flat. It could be isolated boulders or boulder fields along a long tapering point. It could be small contour changes like a ledge dropping off from 4 to 6 foot on the outside edge of that shallow fall feeding flat. I'm really looking for those high percentage locations that I can pull up on quickly, identify if bass are there, and then move on to the next one. This is going to take us into point number two, which is that you're fishing too slowly. These fish are changing day to day, and I'm looking for fishing the highest percentage locations so I can break down water quickly. I'm looking to fish through areas quickly, and so I'm looking for these high percentage stopping points that I can pull up on, fish with a power fishing technique, identify a fish there, and if they're not, bounce to the next one. I'm looking to cover as much water as possible. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction, these fish are constantly transitioning. They're constantly moving and following bait fish, so you need to be able to cover a lot of water, move through these high percentage locations along this highway as fast as possible. Don't sit in one spot. If it's unproductive, fish aren't there this time of year. Now in the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about the baits that I'm using to fish the fall transition and the fall period to locate schools of bass. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that one, which is coming up next. The two big mistakes that we've identified already is fishing history and fishing too slowly, which takes us into point number three, which is search for bites, not for bigs. I see a lot of people go out and try to fish for the biggest fish in the lake. They're throwing big crankbaits, they're throwing big tubes, they're trying to catch the biggest fish of their life. The biggest key this time of year is you want to search for bites. You're fishing through areas to locate productive locations. You're covering a lot of new water to locate areas that bass are moving to. So you want to kind of keep with that theme and just search for one or two bites. And then you can start to slow down. You can start to really break down the area to maximize the amount of bites and catch the biggest fish in that school. During the fall, these fish are just keyed in on bait. I don't think they care that they're mixed up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pounders all grouped in one location. This is the time of year you can maximize a school, catch all the fish out of that place, and catch a bunch of different sizes of caliber fish mixed together. So the biggest key during the fall, cover water, locate bites, and then really break it down to catch the biggest fish out of that school. Now once that school shuts off, you need to go back to those first 2 points, starting to fish faster, starting to cover new water, and look for more bites, because these fish are grouped up in small pods, and when a bite shuts off, go on, move to the next. So those are the 3 biggest mistakes that I see anglers make during the fall. They fish history, they fish too slow, and they don't cover enough water just looking for bites. They're looking for the biggest bass of their life. If you follow these 3 keys that I've given you guys can go out and have phenomenal success during the fall time period. Now if you guys want to check out the baits that I'm going to fish during the fall, click this video right here. If you guys aren't already subscribed, be sure to click this button right here and subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope that these 3 key tips will help you catch more bass during the fall months. If there's something you think I missed, let me know down in the comment section down below. As always, take care, tight lines, God bless. Pursue your passion.